Update on Islam, peaceful tolerant. September 2nd, Islamists in Nigeria ambushed a minibus, ordered passengers to exit, and then shot those that were Christian. The incident took place near the central city of Jos. Those killed were members of a Church of Christ in Nations congregation in Foran. According to Boss News Life, passengers that identified as Christians were ordered to lie down on the side of the road and were executed. Those killed ranged in age from 22 to 40. A technical school student who rode his motorcycle close to the scene to see what was happening was ordered to stop and then asked his religion. When he said he was Christian, he was ordered to lie down with the others. But when the Islamists started shooting, those lying furthest away from him jumped up and ran while the attackers fired wildly. He escaped with his life and was able to report to authorities how the attack happened. Local pastor Pam Jang Pam said the attackers, quote, were a combined band of ethnic Fulani herdsmen and Islamist extremist mercenaries. I notice Obama is not in any hurry to attack Nigeria and seek justice for the dead Christians. I wonder why. The good news is Barack Hussein Obama wants to fight in the Syrian civil war on the side of Al-Qaeda. That's always good news. That's always something we need to know about. Always something that inspires confidence, does it not? Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a senior-ranking Democrat official, says that there are lots of countries who are willing to help us in Syria. So they ask, well, who? I just can't tell you.
And they ask you, Congressman, why is it the United States always that has to get involved militarily? Other countries may be cheering on the U.S. from the sidelines, but it's always U.S. military men and women, U.S. firepower that are called upon to do a job like this. Why can't other countries do it?
Well, there are other countries. I mean, we have, from the briefings that I've received, there are dozens of countries who are going to stand with the United States.
Which countries will use their military power to attack targets inside Syria?
That's honestly something, Wolf, I'm not at liberty to say. I mean, some of what I've learned is classified.
Yeah, it's very classified stuff. We want y'all to know the following. Lots of countries are with us. Y'all need to know we're not going it alone. That's what George Bush would have done, even though he didn't. We're not going it alone. We got lots of countries willing to cheer for us. Okay, well, if you got lots of countries, maybe that'll affect my judgment. I don't want to probe, don't mean to be a racist, but who would those countries be? Oh, I can't tell you that. I mean, come on. You're just the media. Why would I tell you that? I think Ted Cruz said it well. The United States is not Al-Qaeda's Air Force.
The last thing we ought to be doing is sending our sons and daughters into harm's way to get in the middle of this sectarian civil war. We should be focused on defending the United States of America. That's why young men and women sign up to join the military, not to as you note, serve as Al-Qaeda's Air Force.
Congressman Rush Holt, a Democrat from New Jersey, sounding a whole lot like Ron Paul.
As I say, the only possibly justifiable reason would be to deter future use around the world of weapons of mass destruction. In other words, to enforce these international norms. That's what Secretary Kerry talks about. That's what the President talks about. I don't see how one nation can do it. If the rest of the world won't do it, then we can't. It is not up to one nation to enforce international standards.
This is going to be a very fun next week because Barack got out there and said he was attacking. And then even his own party got embarrassed by that. Now the media is going, hey, look, with all due respect, you're really great. We promise we're not racist. But how can you attack because you don't have congressional authority? And you're the guy who said you had to have congressional authority when you were in Congress. When you were in the Senate, you said the president couldn't act unless we were in imminent danger. Are we in imminent danger in America because of the Syrian civil war? Oh, we need to go there. Oh, see, I didn't realize that. Okay, we need to go to Syria and engage in their civil war for the children.
Oh, somebody please think of the children.
I always forget that it's really never about what you think it's about. It's always for the children. God bless them. You know, if you're really worried about children being harmed by the government of the country they live in, I could get out a map and show you fully a third of the countries in the world where children are being harmed. Afghanistan, one of them, but that's not the role we're playing there, by the way. I could show you lots of countries, allies and enemies, where children are being harmed. What weapon you use to kill them is really not that important. How you torture those children is really not that important. In fact, we could start looking at some cities in our country.
The United States has no choice but to attack Syria because dictator Bashar al-Assad is killing his own people with chemical weapons. Before, he was just killing them with bullets. But if America cared about shooting people, we'd be invading Chicago.
That's so true. Oh, it must feel good to be Ron Paul. It must feel good to realize that everyone else is now, especially the Republicans who ridiculed you, everyone else now seems to be coming around to your way of thought. I'm hearing things come out of the mouths of the Republican establishment that sound strangely like Ron Paul. Oh, no one will give him his due because they had to convince you he was crazy. But here he is yesterday talking about Syria. This sounds like Republican talking points, except he was saying it a long time ago.
So a non-interventionist doesn't pretend that they are all wise, that they can go into a country that's been in civil war, where there's several different factions fighting and killing each other, Christians getting killed by rebels, and the Assad regime being blamed for doing this and that. I don't believe it's capable morally, nor are we able to go in and say, oh, we know who the good guys are. We know there's 3 different groups on the rebels, but we know that we won't give any help to the Al-Qaeda. We just have to punish Assad. It's a civil war, and there's no way you're going to figure it out. I smell Iraq all over again. I remember the assurances that were given us 10 years ago, and members of Congress believe that. But let me tell you, the situation is a lot different. The American people are on my side on this issue today, and there's a lot more people in Congress now are saying it makes no sense. And just listen to the military commanders. They said, you know, we don't even have the money for this. We have to have a supplemental. Now, how about all these warmongers getting ready to bomb and kill and invade or do whatever they think necessary, and they don't even have the money, and then they have to appropriate the money, which means more money drained from our economy.